In this video, we will discuss about tetanus, which is also well known as lockjaw disease. This is an acute fatal infectious disease of both man and animal, which is characterized by involuntary contraction of voluntary muscles, which is caused by the toxins of Clostridium tetani. This is not merely caused by the rod itself, but the toxins which are secreted by the Clostridium tetani were interfere with the inhibitory neurons of the nervous system, thereby causing the tetanus. Etiology: the tetanus is caused by the exotoxins produced by the Clostridium tetani. Clostridium tetani is gram-positive and spore-forming bacteria, and which is anaerobic and rod. This tetani is terminal spore-producing bacteria, which means the rod is like this, and at the end of the rod it will produce a spore, eventually giving the appearance of drumstick. Therefore, it is known as drumstick appearance Clostridium tetani. Here in this image you can appreciate the drumstick appearance of Clostridium tetani with spore. Horse and mules are most susceptible. The major route of transmission is via wound infections. Let us come to the pathogenesis of tetanus. The one point which we have to remember is that this disease is mainly caused by the exotoxins which are released by the rod. These toxins enter into the body and they will reach the brain. Inside the nervous system, they interfere with the inhibitory neurotransmission, thereby preventing the inhibitory neurotransmitters, which will eventually lead into the severe contraction and spasmodic effect of the muscles. Let us look at the step-by-step pathogenesis. The organism enter into the body through the nail pricking or through during castration, docking, shearing, and after entry into the body, the anaerobic condition allows the germination of spores and release of exotoxins by the rod. These spores and exotoxins enter the blood circulation or nerves, thereby they eventually reach the brain. Then inside the nervous system, the exotoxins they fixed with a substance called protagon in the nervous tissue, and after that the exotoxins were act on the inhibitory synapse, interfering with the action of inhibitory transmitters, thus producing a spastic action, which means these toxins will inhibit the release of inhibitory neurotransmitters, thereby eventually leads to the hyperirritability response for the tetanic spasm. This is about the pathogenesis. The points which we have to remember is that the pathogenesis is mainly caused by the exotoxins which are released by the rod and not merely by the rod itself, and they enter into the nervous system via blood circulation or nerves. Inside the nervous system, it will get fixed to a substance called protagon, and they both act on the inhibitory synapses, eventually prevent the release of inhibitory neurotransmitters, thereby producing a tetanic spasms. Let us come to the toxins which are released by the Clostridium tetani. There are mainly three types of toxins. The first one is hemolysin, the next one is tetanospasmin, and the last one is fibrinolysin. Hemolysin plays a major role in the lysis of blood cells, and which is also known as tetanolysin, which is not that significant. And the most important and most significant toxin is tetanospasmin, which is also known as neurotoxin, which is responsible for the nervous symptoms. And the last one is fibrinolysin, which is also not very potent. Which is characterized by spasmodic contraction of muscles and eventually leads into the stiffness of the muscles and immobilization of the muscles. Let us come to the symptoms of tetanus. Severe contraction of muscles, arched back and a twisting of the neck, then drooping of the third eyelid and convulsions and sensitive to loud sound. The clinical signs are involuntary, persistent, intense painful contraction of muscles, and in case of horse, the whole body muscles get stiffness and the horse moves like the wooden horse. And in some animals, a raised tail, third eyelid protrusion, and stiffness of jaw muscles, which will lead to the lockjaw condition in case of tetanus. And there is no characteristic gross lesions. Death is eventually due to the toxemia, and microscopic lesions like degeneration of neurons in the brain and spinal cord. And let us come to the diagnosis. The main diagnosis is based on the clinical signs only, and sometimes demonstration of the toxins in the serum can also be carried out. This is all about tetanus. In next video we will discuss about botulinum. In this disease you have to remember the pathogenesis and the toxins which are produced by the Clostridium tetanus. And the pathogenesis is mainly through the action of exotoxins which interfere with the inhibitory synapses, thereby preventing the release of inhibitory neurotransmitters, which eventually leads into the hyperirritability responses for the tetanic spasm. This is all about the tetanus. Thank you.